So welcome back to some more MX versus ATV All Out. Today we're going to be checking out Thunder Valley. Now in honor of it being the Thunder Valley replica, I thought it'd only be best to use a Dio replica in the game. So that's what we did here. If you guys aren't familiar with Dio, I'm sure some of you guys are. He is a fellow YouTuber. He used to play video games and now he pretty exclusively is a real-life riding channel. And he creates really great content. He's been on YouTube for quite a while. He did the Reflex custom tracks back in the day with the same time kind of that yellow S2K was. So I highly encourage you guys, if you're not familiar with him, to go check him out. I believe his YouTube full name is Return of Dio, unless he changed it, I'm not sure, but Return of Dio on YouTube. Go check him out, tell him we said hi, and enjoy his content. But yeah, it wouldn't really be his home track. That would be, I believe, Aztec Raceway, but it's his home national. So yeah, I know it's Eli Tomac's home national, but today it's Dio's home national. So yeah, at the beginning here you saw some really big jumps that we were hitting. I kind of want to have this video laid out similar to how we had WW Ranch laid out, where we did the free ride stuff first and then check out the track. But this is one of the hidden secret tracks that we have in the free ride of Thunder Valley, and it's actually really sick. I know there's not a bunch of jumps or anything, but it's really rough. It's kind of built into the hillside here, the mountainside, and you can kind of ride it both ways, forwards and backwards, which is pretty awesome. It's just a bit more unique, has more character to it than some of the other tracks that we've gotten, similar to High Point or WW Ranch. I feel like those hidden tracks weren't as good as this one. I don't know if this one's as good as the Southwick free ride hidden track, but it's still pretty good. It's cool how they incorporated it into the mountainside here, and they built the trails in the mountainside here as well. And I kind of ride some of them for you here, but there is also some hill climbing, and you will see that here in a bit after we finish off these trails. We ride these trails for a bit, which are pretty rough, pretty steep. Again, more character than some of the other trails that we've gotten in some of the other maps. So pretty awesome how they put this together. I mean, there's some other free ride stuff too, but the main attraction is definitely this hillside. This mountainside is so awesome. They did a great job replicating it, because I've actually been. This is one of the very few nationals I've ever been to. Well, it's the only pro national I've ever been to. It's probably, trying to think, probably the closest pro national for me. I mean, I don't live in western Nebraska, so it's not like it's a 2, 3, 4 hour drive. It's more than that. But yeah, I've actually been to Thunder Valley. My dad and I went 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, it was probably longer than that, actually. When we went, it was the year, I remember Ivan Tedesco, I believe, was on a CRF 450. I believe he was on Honda. And I have a story about the track and my experience on it, or being at it. But I'm going to save that from when we get to the track, because the track, it has some similarities from many, many years ago, but it has significantly changed as well. So when we get to the track, I will share that with you, but we do have the rest of these trails to check out, and then we're going to switch over to the hill climb. Now the hill climb section, because it is a short clip, the hill climb section could have been so much cooler if they would have extended the map. Okay, so you start, we kind of end here where we begin the hill climb. So here we start in hill climb, and we do use first person because it's so steep that in third person you kind of can't see where you're going. So that's why we're in first person. But those trees at the top are basically the end of the map. You get cannonballed if you go too much farther. So yeah, it doesn't go very high, but it's not hard. I mean, it doesn't have any of those sections where it just goes straight up vertical. It's fun. It's really fun. I feel like they could have made it a bit tougher. I feel like they could have added to this part of the free ride map and made the hill really, really, really gnarly. And then the hill climb would have, I don't know, it would have been a bit more fun if it was tougher. Like there was more, like it went more vertical at the end and maybe it was a bit tougher. Here we're switching over to the track. First person again. I did explain in my last video how to move the first-person camera. Some people are asking how to do that. You have to hold down the right or left bumper and then use the D-pad to zoom it in, zoom it out, move it up or down, and that's how you get the different camera position for first person. So that's how you do it, if you were wondering, because I feel like I usually zoom mine all the way out. I just feel like the experience being able to see the bike kind of as if the GoPro is positioned on the chest is kind of cool to see, and I feel like I have a bit more control over the bike in this having the camera positioned like this. So excuse me. So that's how I prefer to have it. But the track overall, it's a very fast track, okay? It's a very fast track, and it may not look very rough, but it's a lot rougher than it appears. No, it's not high point, but it is pretty rough. It does have the ruts in the corners, similar to past tracks we've seen. But the roughness is odd because it doesn't look like it should be very rough, but when you ride the track, especially the start, how you have to climb up to the first turn, that section in particular is really, really rough, and you are going to feel it on the bike. So there are parts of the track similar to that don't feel like or appear that they should be that rough, and they are. And I also said it is a very fast track, and being a fast track, it does make the track kind of tough because you're carrying so much speed into some of those corners that you just pop over the ruts or you overshoot the corner. It's actually kind of tough. You have to plan it out and you can't just full send into every corner. I mean, you can, but then you're gonna blow all the ruts. And yeah, it's great. It's amazing being able to ride on these replica tracks, but one of the best parts about it for me is being able to try and ride it a bit more realistic. I mean, yeah, it's fun sending some really big jumps and stuff, but trying to actually get into the rut and use it the right way is fun for me. Just sending it and popping all over them and bouncing all over the place isn't near as fun. And you feel faster, you feel like you have a better flow if you are actually getting into those ruts. So I think they did a great job. I feel like they did a really good job on the free ride environment part of the track. I feel like they got that big mountainside captured really, really, really good in the game. I remember that, standing there and looking behind myself and seeing it. Because I did say at the beginning of the video, this is the only pro national track I've ever been to. So it's probably the closest one for me. It's still a pretty good drive. We spent the weekend there. My dad and I went to the race many years ago. It's been a long time. I remember Ivan Tedesco went 1-1 easily on a CRF 450, and I don't remember who won the 250, but I'm pretty sure Barsha might have been a rookie. Maybe. I don't remember for sure, but I remember seeing Justin Barsha there, but like I wasn't familiar with his name. So whatever year that was, that he might have been a rookie or his second year, that's the year I was there. Chad Reed maybe was on a Suzuki, and Tommy Hahn, who I'm a big fan of, was on a Cannondale Kawasaki. And I also got to see Ashley Foylick race, which was totally crazy. It was so awesome. So the experience was great, and I know the track has changed a lot, you know, in all those years, but it still has the feel as to how it is today. And I remember standing in the first turn at the top of the hill when they came off the starting gate, and having a shower of roost just kind of flow over. It was like a wave, kind of. It just hit everybody that was standing there. It was so awesome. It was really cool. But my main story about the track, real quick here before we finish, I remember watching them, and they kept tearing the track up really, really, really deep with this cultivator, and they were pulling up these huge slabs of dirt. And I was thinking to myself, how the heck are they gonna ride on that track with these huge slabs of dirt? And then coming behind that, they had this tiller, and they were tearing it up, and it was like garden dirt. I mean, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And they did that for pretty much every race. They in between races, they would constantly take the cultivator, tear the track up really deep, pull up these big slabs of dirt, and then they had the tiller behind it that would shred it down into just gorgeous dirt. And so the track was perfectly prepped every time. And I don't believe they do that anymore. I mean, I haven't been to the race in many years, but let me know in the comments if they still do prep the track that way, like all the time in between every race, because it doesn't appear to be that way, but I haven't been to a race in a very long time, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's how it was when I went there. It was crazy. The track was like, it wasn't really a motocross track because of how well groomed the track was all the time, but it was really awesome. So yes, this is the only motocross track, pro motocross track I've ever actually been to. I feel like they did a great job on it. They got the hillside, mountainside down really good. The free ride stuff is pretty awesome, and they just did an overall excellent job on the track. So you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.